In just over 1 week, Tesla investors will vote on whether to agree to a pay package for Elon Musk that could be worth up to $1 trillion. That might sound ludicrous or even obscene, but Tesla's chair, Robin Denholm, thinks he deserves it. In a letter to shareholders on Monday, she said this: "This is a vote for shareholders on the future of Tesla. That's not just anybody, either inside or outside the organization. That's Elon today. If we don't have Elon at the helm, or he isn't as motivated or incentivized to actually create that future, then it's actually a negative for all shareholders." Denholm might be feeling the need to twist shareholders' arms, as there are signs Musk's pay plans haven't been well received. Last month, ISS, an influential shareholder advisory group, recommended shareholders oppose the deal. In a report on the deal, they said this: "While it's recognized that the board seeks to retain Musk due to his track record and vision for Tesla's future, there are unmitigated concerns surrounding the special award's magnitude and design. While performance targets are far-reaching, unprecedented size locks in high pay opportunities for years to come, and billions can be earned for just partial goal achievement." We'll talk in detail in a moment about the details of the deal and what goals Musk does and doesn't have to achieve to reach the payout. For now, though, this is how Musk reacted to that advice from ISS.
I just don't feel comfortable building a robot army here and then uh, being ousted because of some asinine recommendations from ISS and Glass Lewis, who have no friggin' clue. I mean, those guys are corporate terrorists. And the problem, yeah, so let me explain the core problem here is that so many of the index funds, the passive funds, vote along the lines of whatever Glass Lewis and ISS recommend. Now, they've made many terrible recommendations.
I don't know about you, but I'm not sure I want Elon Musk controlling a robot army. It won't just be Will Smith in trouble. But why would this pay deal give Musk control of the robots Tesla produces? Let's begin with the details of this potential pay packet, which isn't really about giving Musk cash, but rather transferring him Tesla shares, which he will receive as and when the company reaches certain milestones. For example, to be awarded an extra 2% of Tesla shares, the company will need to reach a market cap of $2.5 trillion. Alongside that, they'll need to deliver 20 million vehicles and have sold over 10 million full self-driving subscriptions. To be awarded an extra 12% of the company's shares, which is where the 1 trillion figure comes from, the market cap, that's the value of the company, would need to be an astonishing $8.5 trillion. The various milestones also demonstrate what kind of plans Tesla is setting itself for the next 7 years. As you can see on the left-hand side are the various market cap targets, the value of the company. On the right side are the operational goals. EBITDA means earnings before interest. Ignore that for now. What's interesting is the earlier targets for 1 million robots delivered and 1 million robot taxis in operation. This is the start, presumably, of the robot army Musk was talking about in that call. And it's precisely the development of those robots, which means Tesla's chair thinks shareholders have got to cling on to Elon Musk, however much it costs.
Tesla's in a transformative stage at this point in time. We're leaning in very heavily to the AI space in terms of both the vehicles, in terms of FSD, but also in terms of Optimus and the robots, as you can see here in New York today. And so for us, we sat back as a board and actually determined that this is the right time to lean into that transformation and for Elon to lead that transformation. And we then formed a special committee to actually determine what the right incentive program was to have him motivated to deliver unprecedented value for shareholders over this next decade.
When she says unprecedented value for shareholders, she means it. Okay, so Tesla being worth $8.5 trillion rather, would be almost double the value of the world's most valuable company today by market cap, which is Nvidia. I think it's worth about $4.7 trillion. This is crazy. This is $4.7 trillion. We now have, I think, Microsoft at 4 trillion. Apple's almost at 4 trillion. Microsoft, Apple, I think Amazon is getting there. Anyway, 4 trillion is now a thing. I remember not so long ago, being a $1 trillion company was a big deal. Anyway, we now have multiple $4 trillion companies. And basically, Elon gets that trillion if he takes Tesla to 8 trillion plus. So it's a big deal, and it's unprecedented, like you just heard a moment ago. One surprising backer of the payment plan is the Financial Times. Their Lex column contends that Elon Musk really does deserve that 1 trillion bonus package, but they say only because the targets are so difficult, if not impossible, to achieve. Here's what they say. Actually snagging the bonus will be fiendishly difficult. To receive the whole amount, Musk must drive Tesla's EBITDA to $400 billion. Analysts currently expect just 16 billion of that measure of profit next year in 2026, a number they have ratcheted down substantially over the past year. Moreover, Musk's package requires him to hit multiple operational targets, only one of which is related to car sales. The other 3 hang on AI-powered droids, robo-taxis, and autonomous driving. I mean, that's quite plausible, but whatever. On the last of these, Musk has to notch up 10 million subscriptions. Barclays believes Tesla has fewer than 500,000. The full windfall only comes if he delivers a CEO succession plan too. This is by no means money for nothing. It's not money for nothing, but I think quite a lot of that's plausible. Whether or not you reach 8 trillion in terms of market cap, because market cap doesn't always reflect present value, it often reflects future value too, right? NVIDIA has that massive value because people think AI is the future right now. NVIDIA is creating the chips for AI. But I think the robo-taxis thing and the car sales thing and the androids thing, I mean, yes, it sounds ridiculous. It sounds like, science fiction. But also, SpaceX was the first company to land an autonomous first stage rocket. That was crazy once upon a time too. This is no more crazy than what SpaceX is. By the way, SpaceX is a private company. You can't buy shares in SpaceX, a company which is responsible for a space-based 5G internet. This is all crazy. So yes, it sounds wacky, but everything to do with Elon Musk is wacky. Those targets which are related to sales are being made even harder because of Musk himself, apparently. Callum Williams from The Economist shared new research this week that came to the following conclusion. We find that without the Musk partisan effect, Tesla vehicle sales between October 2022 and April 2025, of course, he found himself embroiled with Donald Trump and MAGA, would have been higher by an amount in the range of 67 and 83%, equivalent between 1 and 1.26 million vehicles. Kieran, this is a wild story in so many ways. It's about American big tech just flying off from the rest of the planet. It's about these extraordinary values of those companies. It's also about Elon Musk, and I think he will probably be the person that gains this mantle, becoming the world's first trillionaire.
Yeah, I mean, I can't stress this enough. Everything I know about Elon Musk, I know against my will. And I know that he's tried to send rockets to Mars and so on. I feel I have more in common with a Martian than I do with Elon Musk. I just think that this is obviously a story about I think it's maybe the perfect evocation of where American capitalism is, or where growth-based American capitalism is now. It's also about, it's a perfect evocation of the so-called second golden age of capital, Gilded Age. And it's just so absurd on so many levels, and yet it's real. And I agree with you that the market cap stuff, I think that's possibly attainable. I mean, every ridiculous thing that Elon Musk does has been thought impossible and that's not to somehow to sort of valorize him or anything. I think the guy is in many ways a moron, and I think he's extremely dangerous. But I think it reflects the fact that he is he is creating, or he has managed to create with all his wealth and power and resources, an environment that reflects his eccentricities, and that responds positively to them. I think it's, if you zoom out a little bit and you stop thinking about it through the kind of Silicon Valley techno-accelerationist capitalist lens, it's an incredibly depressing indictment on technology and on AI and where we're heading with all of that. And, you know, I believe Ash made the point on Question Time not long ago that before we were talking about, you know, curing cancer with AI, or, you know, solving humanity's greatest problems. And now many of the AI leaders are talking about trying to satisfy individual human loneliness with robots and so on. So I think it's a sorry indictment on where AI, you know, the kind of juncture that we're at with AI and the kind of pathway or trajectory that we're on with it. I don't think that I don't want to be a techno pessimist. I don't deny that AI has very powerful transformative properties and qualities, and that it is in many ways, you know, disrupting normal economic processes and rhythms, and that it will obviously continue to do so for a great deal of time longer. But I have long been very skeptical of the idea that AI can somehow, you know, the more utopian aspects that are often attributed to it, the idea that it's going to transcend it's going to somehow hack and trick and circumvent some of the more exploitative realities of life in a kind of capitalist productive system. It seems to be it seems to me to be, at the moment, reproducing and amplifying some of the very worst aspects of that exploitation. I think this is like a kind of on steroids, on cocaine, on amphetamine example of that. And I don't know where it all leads, except that I hope it leads to a defenestration of Elon Musk at some juncture. I hope I live long enough to see that. Anyway, that's what I think. And I just think that, yeah, ultimately, we need to think very seriously about where we allow AI to go in public and social spaces.
Kieran, you listed lots of drugs then. One you didn't say was ketamine. And Elon Musk takes a hell of a lot of ketamine. You know, they like to call it microdosing stateside. I call it a drug addiction. Kind of worrying, right? You know, the guy's taking bumps of ketamine in the Oval Office, and he's now essentially been the world's first trillionaire.